Recognize royalty, gotta recognize it. Recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
There's nobody out there besides me doing research like this. Check this out.
So I want y'all to notice the question he's typing in. The question is, did Jamaicans vote to remain under British rule? Did they vote to do so? Right? And look at the answer he gets. And notice he doesn't like the answer. So he's going to change the question. Watch.
Watch this right here, family. No, Jamaicans didn't vote to remain under British rule.
Jamaicans did not vote to remain under British rule. When they had a vote, Jamaicans voted to withdraw from British rule, right? So Jamaicans voted to be independent. That was the vote that was made. But that's not the answer he's looking for. He's looking for something that says Jamaicans wanted to be under British rule. So it's apparent that when there was a vote, they voted no. So he doesn't like that answer. So look what he does.
Instead, they voted in a 1961 referendum to, no, that's not what I wanted. I want them to take.
That's not what he wants at all. He doesn't want to hear anything about them voting to become independent. He doesn't want that. He wants something else. So look what he runs to.
Poll. This is a poll. So I put the wrong language there.
Right. He wants a poll. Right? Not a vote, a poll. As if a poll is more meaningful than a vote. As if a poll of a population is more meaningful or says more about the population than what the population votes for.
I want it to be a poll. Oh, go back. No, it wasn't a vote, my fault. Take a poll. Did they? There we go. Did they take a poll? Can I spell? Let me just put that in right there. Okay. Okay.
And again, just look at how dishonest he's being or deceptive, right? But let's just see where he takes this.
Right here. So recent polls show that a majority of Jamaicans support becoming a republic, not remaining under British rule. This view remarks a reversal from polls conducted around 2011, which indicated a preference for retaining the monarchy. Look, in 2011, family, that's what, 14 years ago? Surveys commissioned by the Gleaner found that 60% of Jamaicans believe the country would have been better off if it had remained a British colony.
Now look at this con man once again. Look what he just read. He said recent polls show that a majority of Jamaicans support becoming a republic, not remaining under British rule. He just skipped right over that. He just went right past that. And it says this view marks a reversal from polls conducted under 2011, right? But he's going to go to the 2011 vote to prove his point. Even though, again, recent polls show that a majority of Jamaicans support becoming a republic, not remaining under British rule. So you could see just how incredibly deceptive this guy is being. It even speaks about the recent polling right under what he's focused in on. Let's see if he mentions that. Let's see if he talks about the recent polls that says they would prefer to be a republic than remain under British rule. Let's see if he does that, or if he's going to continue to try and give the impression that the 2011 poll is really what represents Jamaica.
In 2011, they resented being independent. They wanted to remain a British colony.
And just so on, let me just read what it says about the recent polling, right on his own source here, right on his own website, right? What he's reading, right under what he read. It says recent polls. Surveys conducted in 2022 and 2023 by Don Anderson and Lord Ashcroft, respectively, showed declining support for the monarchy and majority support for becoming a republic. A 2022 poll showed 56% of respondents wanted to remove the British monarch as head of state. That's what his own poll, his own source is telling you. So he's going back to 2011 to prove his point. Polling from 2011, when there's even more recent polling available from 2022 and 2023. That's right there in front of his stupid face. But let's see if he acknowledges it.
Fight to get away from white supremacy. They fight to be remained with white supremacy. Now you see why we got two different outlooks in America? Read that over. I'll give you some time. Matter of fact, let me help you out. Let me do a border. So you don't, somebody I got ADD, right? Let me help you focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, he's helping you.
Look at
This fool is helping you focus in on the 2011 polls and just ignoring the recent polling. This is what we mean by deceptive and unbiased connery.
That's 2011.
Fool, there's 2022 and 23 right next to that. You fool. What? And this guy talks about how great his research is. Look, this man completely wants you to believe how great his research is, and it's staring him right in his stupid face. Look, 2011 polls, recent polls.
Most of the country did not want to be independent and run their own shit. They wanted to be under the white man's thumb. The colonizer, and they talk all this colonizer talk. Oh, the colonizer, neo-colonialism, all that imperialism. They talk all that talk, but almost the entire country rather be under the thumb of white supremacy than run it themselves. But they'll tell you they fight the Maroon War and all this shit. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So this will make me unique. This type of information I bring.
Yeah, information you bring is outdated information from 2011 when there's up-to-date information staring you right in your stupid face. Let me see if hopefully he'll scroll down to what it says about the 2023. Let's see if he scrolls down.
I bring that ugly information. Okay, I bring that ugly truth.
Ugly truth indeed.
It's that Bubba Sparks. So let me leave that there while I read. Okay. So, as I said, Britain encouraged them to create a West Indies Federation to come together under one banner, West Indian, one flag, or West Indian flag. They didn't create one, but one government, one currency. Okay? 3 years, they said, nah, the hell with this. We going back to Zaddy. You know what? And we gonna flee.
So is he going to talk about the recent? He's not going to talk about the recent polling, is he? He's just going to ignore it. He's just going to ignore it even when it's right in front of his face, which only shows you he wants to present a narrative. And whether he finds information to go against his narrative or not, inconsequential to him. He's just going to put a border around what he wants you to see and focus in on that. This is clown research.
Yeah, it says it.
Come on, buddy. Let's go. The recent polls is right there in front of you.
In the 2000s. This ain't 1940, 1920. This is the 2000s. They rather be under British control than their own black sovereignty. They talk all that sovereignty talk, Marcus Garvey, and these dudes wanted to remain under the British control.
Wow. He even brought in Marcus under there. Marcus, who wanted to take us back to Africa. He's even saying Marcus wanted us to be under British control. Isn't that something? Right? So he quickly ran away from the data that said when there was a vote, Jamaicans voted to remain independent. When there was an actual vote, not no polling, because we know there's a difference between a poll and a vote, right? And even if, and the poll said that they think the country would be better off. That's what the poll said. This 2011 poll. Read what it says. It says the Gleaner found that 60% of Jamaicans believe the country would have been better off if it had remained a British colony. Right? That doesn't mean that if they had their chance, they would go back to British rule. That's not what that says. That's not synonymous with that. Just because you think the country would have been better off under British, as a British colony, doesn't mean you want to go back to being a British colony. It doesn't necessarily mean that. People would still want to remain. There's still something about being an independent country that people would want to maintain. But they didn't say they want to go back to British rule. They said they thought the country would be better off. And as crazy as it seems, there are black people today in America who will say that the black community was better off during Jim Crow, that it was more cohesive. There wasn't so much single mother households. Like, these are the arguments they make, that the black community was better off during Jim Crow. People have that viewpoint. But I wouldn't say those people that hold those viewpoints would want to go back to Jim Crow. Just because you think certain things may have been better off doesn't mean you want to go back to those times. They're just saying that those things were better off just to prove or make the point that things don't have to be that way. Or things don't have to be the way they are, with all of the high single mother households that are present. When they say things were better during Jim Crow, they're just saying the black community doesn't have to be the way it is now. It can be better. But we don't have to go back to Jim Crow in order for it to be better. That's not what they're saying. It doesn't mean they want to go back to Jim Crow. So to say because Jamaicans feel like things were better off during British rule, to equate that with, they want to go back to British rule, is also just as irresponsible. And this guy just shows that he just wants to be irresponsible. He ignores the fact that when they actually voted, and they actually put a vote to it, they said, nope, we're staying independent. And in 2022, the numbers flipped. In 2022, it's right there, 56% of them wanted to remove the British monarch as the head of state. And, even today, I believe that they would, if there was a vote again today, according to these polls, if there was a vote again today, they would vote to stay independent. Even if 60% of them still believe that they would be better off being a British colony, if you put it to a vote, they would still vote to remain independent. That's just how I see it. So I asked ChatGPT, did Jamaicans vote? Actually, this isn't ChatGPT. I Googled this question. And I've actually Googled the first question. that he put in, the one that he ignored. I said, did Jamaicans vote to remain under British rule? And it says no, Jamaicans did not vote to remain under British rule. In fact, a 1961 referendum led to the country's withdrawal from a proposed regional union and ultimately paved the way for its full independence from Britain in 1962. So again, when it was put to a vote, they said, no, we don't want to stay under British rule. The 1961 referendum voted no to the Federation. The referendum asked citizens of Jamaica should remain in the West Indies Federation, a political union of several British Caribbean colonies. A no vote meant independence. When 54% of Jamaicans voted against remaining in the Federation, the result was interpreted as a decision to seek complete independence on their own. Led to independence, following the referendum, Jamaican leaders negotiated with Britain, and the Jamaican Independence Act was passed in 1962, granting full independence. All right, so again, I think that if you put it to vote again today, you're gonna see the same results. And, the polls suggest that. A continued link to monarchy. Google says, while Jamaica chose to be independent, it maintained a symbolic link to Britain for decades by remaining a parliamentary constitutional monarchy within the Commonwealth. This meant that the British monarch, first Queen Elizabeth II and now King Charles III, served as the head of state, represented by a Jamaican Governor General. The current Jamaican government has presented a bill to remove the British monarch as head of state and transition to a republic, though this process is still ongoing. Did y'all hear that? The current Jamaican government has presented a bill to remove the British monarch as a head of state and transition to a republic, which is what America is. So Jamaica doesn't want to go back to the monarchy and want to go back to being under British control. The very current government wants to remove the British monarchy as the head of state. That's what they're working towards now. So how does a country whose government wants to remove the British as a monarchy want to go back under the monarchy? This is nonsense. This is foolishness. This is someone who claims to be doing research, but is only pretending and wants to provide a certain narrative. But get your facts right, buddy. Get your facts right before you start running your mouth. At least have your facts straight. So that's where we are. Every chance they had, every vote, when they voted for independence. The most recent polls say they want to remain independent. And the current government is moving towards removing the British monarch. So what this guy is talking about is complete foolishness.
Like I said, they're not like us. We're different. There's nothing wrong being different, but I'm going to embrace my differences. I'm not going to be ashamed to say I'm different.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be ashamed to say you ignore facts that are right in front of you, because you just had the data right in front of you and you just ignored it. You just got killed by your own source. A pseudo just died at his own source, which was staring him right in the face. Pseudo as hell. The data was right there in front of him. He just died by his own source and didn't even realize it. Dead man talking.
Okay. All right. So let me get rid of this.
Yeah, let me get rid of you and your pseudo research and pseudo information.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. But bad mind them out you one hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want fi drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she bike in a read. Not even 5 bills we can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet, but keep a eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go late. Them never yet plant and not try figure it. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle we submit. The system will slide where you fit.
Inna the streets where we born and grow, only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. Everybody just a pre-success. When me looking at the street, you me see enough stress. Them all a fight for who reach up next. Everybody want floss and a beat up chest. Juvenile in a them teen love sex. Them a pre the fast money, them no need subjects. And if you're unfortunate, please don't vex. Also the things said cause the streets don't rest.
Inna the streets where we born and grow, only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. Bad mind them out you one hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want fi drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she bike in a read. Not even 5 bills we can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet, but keep a eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go late. Them never yet plant and not try figure it. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle we submit. The system will slide where you fit.
Inna the streets where we born and grow, only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah.